In this scenario, we'll be sharing with you a donor that said no and how the major gift officer handled the situation. So, this is the scenario. Brian is the CEO of a company who is interested in understanding water and sanitation in African countries. He was introduced to the major gift officer through the program officer. He is not currently a donor and has not given to CARE. He met with both the fundraiser and the program officer about 2 to 3 weeks for almost a year. He was given a written proposal for $100,000 and attended a week-long visit to Benin with the program officer to see the program's impact. And after returning from the trip, Nashmeen called to ask him about the trip and to make an investment of $100,000 to CARE. And this is what that conversation sounded like. This was a phone call, but we're going to model it as is if it's an in person. I'll play Brian, and Nashmeen will be herself.
Brian, nice to see you. It's wonderful to connect again. I'm excited to hear how your trip went. I heard really great things from our country office in Benin that you all had such a wonderful trip. I wish I had been there with you. So I'm eager to learn from you. If you have any feedback, what were your highlights? Really curious to know. Benin called me yesterday. They're really eager to learn, about your feedback and what you thought. And I know we have already submitted that proposal to you. So today we're really eager to learn. Brian, will you consider investment of $100,000 for Benin?
Hey, Nashmeen, it was a really good trip. I really appreciate that the program was very well run. And as you know, I'm thinking about what my family truly wants and needs for an organization we're investing in. And we're really looking for something more hands on. So we decided to invest $100,000 to another local organization, and they're naming a well after us, and we'll be able to help bill ourselves.
I see, Brian. Okay. Well, disappointed to hear that, but I'm sure it's a great organization that you're investing with. I will say that, I do think we discussed care as much as we would love to have very critical donor input and work together on the ground. It's something we explored years ago. We had a program called Care Corp where we had donors come and work alongside with us, almost similar to what Habitat for Humanity does. But we realized quickly that we need to put the power in the communities and the local hands to empower them to, for example, make their own wealth. And so we took kind of that step away from giving donors, that ability. So I'll say I'm sorry that we couldn't partner together, but I, appreciate your time and energy that you took to take your whole family to Benin and see our program over there. And I hope you'll continue to engage with CARE. I'd love to inform you about, all the good we're doing, especially in West Africa. And I hope that we'll have a opportunity to partner in the future, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks, Nasrin. Absolutely. I learned so much, and I appreciate CARE taking me on and helping me learn so much and helping me realize that where we wanted was really being in with a hands-on organization. So I appreciate that, and yeah, I want to continue to learn about the great work CARE is doing
Thank you so much, Brian.
and have seen. So Nasrin, would you walk us through some takeaways for this donor relationship?
Sure, Bailey. A few things come to mind, right? This is a tricky one because again, he gave us no indicators. He was kind of going along, he learned about care. Very quickly, we set him up speaking with some program expert. Very quickly, he decided he wanted to go see the program, took his family with him to see Care's work and gave us, great feedback along the way. So was I disappointed that it was a no? Very much. This was kind of a wild card where I didn't know if it's going to be a yeah or no, yes or no. So I think what we learned is that we really have to think clearly about the alignment between the donor and the organization's needs, right? Because I think in the long run, had he every year wanted to go and work alongside our field experts and try to make a well, that would actually be a problem for CARE. We just don't have the bandwidth or capacity to do anything like that, and it's just not a right system for the people we're serving in country, right? So in that way, I think I wish I had realized sooner that there was a little bit of a misalignment. Maybe when he took his family there, I should have been, oh, maybe he wants his family to be involved. Oftentimes it's just one, donor going, not the whole family. So I wish that I had realized sooner that there was a disconnect between how they want to do things and how, care would operate. So certainly there's that. And then I would say, just from an organizational standpoint, care perhaps needs, more guidelines around allowing donors to do the trips. And I think we've come a long way, but this was many years ago. But we were really saying okay to anyone who really wanted to go to a trip without getting a form signed and saying that, yes, you can, we are looking for investment, minimum investment X dollars. And we are looking for you to commit to care in a pretty significant way if you are taking the privilege of going overseas to see our work. So I think, our systems are different now, but back in the day, it was a little bit easier, or we pushed donors to go because we thought that commitment would come. I think you kind of have to do it side by side because you cannot count on the commitment if you haven't really talked about it upfront. So there needs to be a piece where you already said you're going on this trip. We expect a certain kind of commitment to the field. Are you willing to do so? So that kind of wasn't discussed. And lastly, I would say just it's okay to fail and to learn from it. Everyone fails, and you get a no. And for me, it was the motivation to go find another new six-figure gift and to really process like the feelings behind what it feels like when someone says no to you. I spent over a year cultivating this donor. It's a lot of time. This was one of my big asks for that year. So, and you gotta know. So like you kind of pick up the pieces and you start over. But for me, it took a while, but I quickly was like, all right, I gotta go find another donor. There are people who will commit, right? And it was just going through the whole process, setting up a donor trip, all that was still a learning experience. So taking the good and just learning from the whole process. I would say those are the three takeaways, Billy.
Thank you so much, Nashmeen. Has been so helpful.